Hello everyone. So today is, April 2024. It's 7 weeks since I had my first nipple tattooing. If you're just watching this for the first time in this little series I've been doing, these are about nipple tattoos after you've had not necessarily reconstruction, but I had breast cancer. I had a double mastectomy with reconstruction. It was a skin sparing double mastectomy, which means that I was not able to keep my nipples because my tumor was too close to them. Or one of my tumors was too close to my nipple. It was too high up on the skin, layer wise, that if they would have put my nipple back on, it's like putting cancer back on after just scooping it all out. So why would you want to do that? You wouldn't want to do that. So an option is to have nipple tattooing. I just want to focus on like the second round today. So if you want to look back or watch the vlog I did prior in this playlist, you can, learn more about the intros of the whys of the nipple tattooing. So I had the last one 7 weeks ago. They said they were going to do it in 3 sessions. I was supposed to have it 6 weeks ago, but this past weekend was the Runway for Recovery retreat. They gave us Stanleys on our beds. It was at Alnoba, which is in Kensington, New Hampshire, kind of in the middle of nowhere. But we stayed at these cabins, which are really like just smaller houses. And then we had you go in, like, whose bed is whose? And then on top of the bed were Stanleys, and they were personalized, which is really, really sweet. It's even like it's engraved. It's not even like crappy screen printed or something. Like, this won't come off. And I've never had a Stanley before. They're very trendy right now. So they redid their logo. So that was a nice little gift. So overall, it was a nice weekend. My hot flashes were like out of control, but I'll focus on that a different day because it's not the brunt of what I wanted to talk about today. So I didn't have I was supposed to have the tattooing done last Monday, but my first round of tattooing, I had a lot of similar pains than what I had after my original double mastectomy. So I'm like, I don't want to do that before the retreat because I won't be able to participate in all the things that I want to. So the retreat was Friday through Sunday, and then Monday morning I went in for the second session of nipple tattooing. So because I was in so much pain last time, my breasts have been numb since surgery. Well, they had been numb since surgery. Sorry, I was like, there's like buzz all over. I'm working on this latch. Ow! I'm working on this latch hook kit rug thingy, and like it's very fuzzy, so it makes me sneeze. Anyhow, so my breasts have been numb since surgery. When I had the first round of tattooing, all of a sudden everything woke up. Again, you can rewind to watch all that. So in order for me not to be in excruciating pain this time, she had given me a tube of, which I have another one for the next time. I had it done at my plastic surgeon's office. The nurse does it, but she gave me a tube of Lidocaine and Prilocaine cream to put on my boobs before the procedure. So like put this, like slather the whole tube all over, wrap myself in Saran Wrap, and then head over and do that an hour before so it has time for it to kick in. So a couple of things, because I just come home from the retreat. So I forgot to get a ride. Well, I ended up finding a ride, but I forgot to ask for a ride to go to the appointment. I was so spacey when I left the first appointment, but I guess with the Runway retreat, I totally forgot about it, and I'm like, shit, like I can't drive myself to this appointment. So to let you know, in case you're doing this, make sure that you have a ride for these tattooings, because they're not walks in the park. At least not my experience or anyone's experience I've heard who's had this done. So I found a ride. This is easy to put on yourself. I used gloves to put this on so that my hands wouldn't be like numb So I put on like latex gloves and then put this on. And then the Saran Wrap, I mean, it's not, you don't want to use press and seal because like no one wants to have anything pressed up against your newly tattooed nipples, or anything in your body, because that's going to be kind of uncomfortable. You want like plain old Saran Wrap. I didn't have Saran Wrap. and I got home, I was like so tired from the retreat. And I'm like, I don't want to go down to the grocery store because I'm just like beat. And I asked some neighbors of mine, none of them had Saran Wrap either because people don't really use it anymore. So make sure that you have Saran Wrap before all this stuff, if that's the route that you're going with the Lidocaine and Prilocaine cream. The other thing is when you have the Saran Wrap, it's kind of hard to Saran Wrap yourself, because when I heard other people of how they do it, they put the stuff on, they lift their arms up, and then somebody else goes around once or twice with the Saran Wrap. You put on your clothes, you get in the car, and then you head on over. With traffic, plastics is probably about an hour away from me, or a little bit under. But she said to give it an hour for it to kick in. So the tips and tricks here. The Saran Wrap with the like the ones that you just had to rip, like those are a pain in the ass to use. You want the one with the slider that we can just like slide it and then people can just wrap you around. It's a lot easier. Afterwards, when I was talking about how I Saran Wrap myself, the nurse from plastics told me I didn't have to go all the way around. Like if I didn't have someone that easily that could have done that, you can just like take a piece of Saran Wrap just in the front and then like put your bra on to keep it in place. But whatever, just so you know, in case you are on your own, you can do it with you just being on your own. It just requires a bit more balance and you know, playing around, I guess, to get it to stick. So I did that. I also took 2 Motrin. Again, I'm not a doctor at all. I took 2 Motrin before the appointment, like just to be a little bit, you know, getting a step ahead with the pain. Because like if you've had any gynecological anything stuff done, they often tell you to take some Motrin before you get there. So that way, like, cramping's not bad or whatever it is that you're having done. So I took 2 Motrin. I'm on Bayer, so I'm not really supposed to take Motrin, but taking it like once isn't that big of a deal for me. And then I also took a half a Klonopin before my appointment, thinking that like, it would like chill me out. So my blood pressure was normal again, which was great. My heart rate was fine starting off. But even though with all those things that I did, and I timed it all out and did what they told me to do, I go there and she starts on the right side and I'm like, holy shit, like I can feel that again. But I'm like, whatever, like it's much better than it was last time. So I'm just going to breathe through it, and just suck it up and just, you know, and I was fine. And again, they know when your body is done with having the tattooing, when like there's so much blood, I guess, that rushes to the area and then it makes the coloring way brighter than what it normally would be. And then they can't keep working because they don't want to make the tattooing a different color than what they intend it to be. But before we even started, like she asked me how I felt after the first one. And I told her, and I'm like, I know by now that my body is sensitive to stuff. And like, this is what happened for me. And you can, I feel like I did a vlog on that. Did I? I don't even remember. I've been doing some vlogs. I don't know why I'm putting my arms up because like it hurts. I've been doing some vlogs and then they cut off because I run out of space on my phone. I need a new phone. And I was recording them at way too high quality. So I'm hoping this doesn't get cut off. If it does, I'll do another one. But I can't, I'm so behind on posting my vlogs. I can't remember if I did one about how I was feeling after the last one. So I'll fill you in now. I'm only at 9 minutes, so it should be fine. And honestly, I don't even remember all the little bits and pieces. But what I do remember is that a lot of the pains that I had after my double mastectomy came back after I had the first run of tattooing. The gumminess feeling that I would have in here and my shoulder being stiff. And then when I was walking around, I don't want to move my arms too much because I don't feel that way today. And I don't want to irritate this because my Tylenol is almost all the way worn off and it's getting late in the day. But I found myself like leaning forward a lot to kind of protect My arms, the biggest thing was like, again, it was hard to write for a couple of days. The first 2 or 3 days were the worst. And then like a week later, I'd say, not even, like I was back to myself. But it was interesting with the muscle memory of like knowing, or the pain memory of knowing, you know, what happened to my body after my original surgery. And now like these things are all coming back. It was just very interesting. But I didn't want to not move because I had gotten frozen shoulder after my first surgery. And I'm like, I don't want to protect it so much that it's a balance. I didn't want to protect it so much that I was going to like get stiff. And I didn't want to overdo either. So I was really kind to myself for the first 2 days. Today is Tuesday. It's nighttime. You can probably tell I started setting this up when it was sunny out. So I had great lighting, and then like it started getting darker. So yeah, so it's basically been 2 days, just about, or a day and a half since I had it done. And I'm feeling better, but still I've been taking Tylenol twice a day. Well, rewind. So yeah, I had a lot of pain after the first one. But again, by a week it was fine. So just be kind to yourself for the first like 2 days. Just take a break. If you can work from home, then do that. That's what I did. I actually used a sick day yesterday because I just couldn't, like, I was so tired. Oh my gosh. I fell asleep. I feel like I slept like probably about 12 hours in total, and I'm not a napper, so that's totally not me. But look at the old vlogs. It's honestly, I can't even remember everything I just remember having a lot of the similar pains that I had after my mastectomy, and I was just very surprised. My boobs also were very swollen, I remember afterwards, so I feel like I did do a vlog, because then I went to Savers and bought a bunch of like cheap shirts and stuff, like inexpensive shirts, because when you have the tattooing done, when you get home, you're supposed to put, well, according to my nurse, you put Aquaphor on your boob and then, or your nipples, and then put these Telfa pads on top. Here, this will be my thumbnail. So a small amount of Aquaphor, and then you put this on top for the first 3 days, and then days 4 through 10, you just put the Aquaphor on. But if you just put the Aquaphor on, I'll give you a great example, although I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's dark. If you put the Aquaphor on and just put your clothes on, then it leaves marks. Now, I don't know if you can tell that. I have, you can see it. You see a little dot right there? That's Aquaphor. And I have 2 of these on right now. Clearly I put too much on, but my left one was actually bleeding a little bit, so that's why I put a little bit extra Aquaphor on. So anyway, that was the first one. So had the second one, breathed through it on my right boob. I have more numbness on my right side because I had more tumors on my right side and more work done. I had 6 lymph nodes removed from my right side. There's more drama, so more numbness. My left side, I mean, oh my God, I just couldn't, and I have a really high threshold for pain after all this shit that I've been through. I just couldn't. And it was like, I did all the things I was supposed to do. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now, because like I did all the things and the Lidocaine just isn't working. And she's like, I think the next step is to do a shot of Lidocaine, like injected into my nipple area. So I thought like a shot, singular shot. It was not singular shot. It was shots plural. She put 4 in to start. She's like, you'll feel like a pinch when the needle goes in, and then you'll feel like this burning sensation when the Lidocaine actually comes out. So sometimes I didn't feel the pinch, but when the stuff came out, the burning I felt. And then she like massages it in to get stuff to move around, which I understand, but oh my gosh, it hurt. So she did that towards the bottom of my, I'm showing my nipple, or my sort of kind of nipple, my Aquaphor nipple. It's so funny. It's like a nipple in my shirt. It's not really there. Towards the bottom of my boob, I'm more numb. Like as you go higher, I start to regain feeling. So I feel like she did like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock to start off with the shots. and thinking that that was fine. And then when she was tattooing towards the bottom, like, I'm like, oh, that's great. I feel fine. But then as she started coming back around again, on the side, I'm like, I feel that. So then she put another thing of lidocaine in with a shot, and then, you know, rubbed it in, and that hurt. And then she got like more towards the top, and I'm like, I really feel that. So another thing of lidocaine. So it was quite a few shots to get me to be numb. But like once I was, she was able to get through until, like, again, the blood just rushes so much, and then she had to stop. But she got a fair amount. Like, I think for the most part, what she wanted to get accomplished today, she did. But she wanted to get a little bit more done. It's just that, you know, my body was not cooperating that way. It just wanted to be done when it was done. I just was not expecting to have all those little lidocaine shots. I say little, but the burning was like a lot. Like having a shot, it's like when you have dental work done and they give you Novocaine, you know, but like, and then they start drilling and it still hurts and they give you more Novocaine. It was like that, like over and over and over again, like way more frequently than what they would do at the dentist. Whatever. That part's done for now. So when she was done, I looked in the mirror. I actually smiled when I looked in the mirror and saw them. Like, they were really, really dark, but I know that like tattoos fade over time. So even though they're dark right now, like they're not going to stay that color. And one thing I skipped over was when I first got there, and she asked me like how I felt, which I said, but she also asked me what I liked or did not like about the tattoos, because today was like basically finishing them up, and the next time will be like just touch-ups. And you have to be honest, like you can't tell them what they want to hear. You can't be like, oh yeah, it looks great, if you don't think that it looks great. Like any small thing. So I was telling her how one of my boobs, it looks like she just took like a stamp and put the nipple on it. And I said, you know, like, can you like fade it out, like smudge it a little bit around the outside so it looks more natural. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. My hot flashes like have been so out of control. I've like an under boob sweat, but whatever. I gotta sit back. My arm hurts. So I told her what I liked. Sorry. Why am I apologizing? I don't know. Here, I'm closing this up because I look wide. I haven't been in the best place still with my with body image, but that's another vlog for another time. So I told her about the smudging. I asked if she could do that. And then I also said about like one of my scars is higher than the other one. So they try to do the nipple so that it's like tangent to the scar line. My scars go straight across, by the way. But that works well on my left side. But if she did that on my right side, because my scar is lower, that would mean my nipple would be more like oblong versus round. So I'm like, I'd like it a little bit more, you know, the same distance from my scar, but I don't want them to be like crooked either. So, and she's very like meticulous, which is what you want in someone who's doing a nipple tattoo. So it was just a brief conversation back and forth as to what I liked and didn't like. I loved how she did her shading on the nipples. If like looking at me from a distance, like you would never know that they don't actually stick out. She did the shading really, really well. And I told her the color I liked a lot too. Again, when she first did it, it was really like dark and kind of more peachish than like my old nipples used to be. But as it faded, it became much more like what my actual nipples used to be. So I said, like, I want to stick with that color. It's almost like when you get your hair colored and they have to look at like what numbers did they mix together. Because when I went the first time, they had like 30 bottles of tattooing ink, and they have to do a lot of trial and error to see like what's going to be the right color. Like they just put it on your skin. If it's not the right color, just wipe it off and do another one. The whole process is just so interesting. But this time I walked in and there wasn't those long piles of ink. There wasn't any piles of ink, but she just like looked up what she used last time, and that's what she put together. I took a still, actually, that might be my thumbnail. I took a still picture of the needles that they use before she came in the room. I'm like, ding. just so that I could share with you guys like what it, or you people, what the needles look like that she's using. Yeah, so that's where I ended up, and then she's like, just take it easy when you go home. I was chatting with her a lot. It's good to it's good to chat with her or chat with whoever's doing it. It's distracting. It makes time go by faster. The friend that took me did not go in the room with me. I didn't want anybody in the room with me. Like, it's such a personal thing. I just wanted to be me and her. That was it. So again, the goodie bag after I came home. Again, you put the Aquaphor on. You wash your nipple area with like just like 2 fingers. I use Cetaphil soap. You can't use like fragrance soap or anything. So I use Cetaphil soap, and I just, gently wash your nipple area, and then rinse it with like, well, I use cool water. I can't tell temperature with my boobs, so it really wouldn't matter. But you want to use like not super hot or not super cold water, and then like just like dab it to dry it, and then put a small amount of the Aquaphor on, and then put the Telfa pad on top, and then you put your shirt on. So again, I have shirts that I don't really care about right now if I ruin them. It was interesting that this even soaked through the Telfa pad, but I haven't really been outside of my apartment to care anyway as to what I look like. But when I went to get the mail, I'm like, got to cover up so I don't have this random Vaseline nipple on me for everyone to see. So I'll do this for 3 days, and then again, day 4 through 10, you don't use these. You, again, same thing. Oh, twice a day. You do that, by the way, sorry. I'm tired. It's hot in here. It's like 30 degrees outside, but I'm hot. You do that twice a day for the first 3 days, where you wash morning and night, and switch these out. And then days 4 through 10, you again wash gently, thin layer of Aquaphor, and then you just put your regular clothes on. Tattoos typically peel throughout the healing process, so that's normal if that happens. You do not want to peel stuff off if you have skin hanging. Just let it do its thing. You don't want to peel it off. It's going to make it worse. When I switched them out these past 2 times, since I've been home, I noticed that like it was bleeding a little bit, and it wasn't doing that the last time, but I know that will just like heal over time, so I'm not worried about it. I did not shower today. I'll shower tomorrow. When you shower, you're supposed to put your back towards the shower so that the water isn't going directly on them. Again, you want to kind of be gentle and give them a break. What else? No baths for a certain amount of time. I can't recall. I think I read through the directions on my first vlog in this playlist, so you can take a look at that, because the directions are basically the same thing. Like, obviously, like no hot tubs or stuff, no laying out topless in the sun and whatever. Like for here, it's April, so like there's no sun to lay out naked in front of, really, in New England. And then my next appointment is again in 6 weeks, and that should be the last one. So again, I have another tube of this to wrap myself in, whatchamacallit, in Saran Wrap. I had to ask for this because originally she didn't pop it in there. But maybe with the shots, it doesn't even matter if I have this, but I'd rather put it on anyway and Saran Wrap myself and maybe need less shots. I don't know. They call it texturizing. I don't even really know what that means, but like an areola isn't like a flat color. Like it has like spots of white or whitish in it where like your milk ducts would be. So I'm curious how, I feel like that's what is going to be the last day when she puts those like little touches on things. I don't know. I find the whole thing very interesting. But what I will say is, I mean, the first time I was going through so much pain, I still have some pain. You can see my pillow here. My shoulder hurts. I was not able to get a full work day in today. I did work from home, but I couldn't get a full day in. It hurt too much to type. And then I'm like, at this point, it's April. In August, it will be 4 years since my surgery. And I'm like, Jen, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying. I'm trying so hard to like have my boobs look like the boobs that I had, or even better, before all this stuff happened. And that's just not a reality. Between like the skin sparing mastectomy, if you're able to keep your nipples, this is something I learned this weekend at Runway, because some women showed me their reconstructed chests and non-reconstructed chests. But if you remember back a long time ago when this whole thing first started, and I was looking for plastic surgeons, the first plastic surgeon that I spoke to, I did not get a good vibe from her at all. So I didn't end up using her. And the interesting thing is, two people that I stayed with at the retreat had that plastic surgeon as their plastic surgeon. And when I saw their chests, they were both able to keep their nipples. One person kept their areolas, but not their nipples, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't even realize that that was like a thing. Everyone was just so curious about like the tattooing, because I don't think anyone there had it done. I only know two people who've had it done, both who have said it's extraordinarily painful, but they were happy with the results when it was done. But when I was looking at these other women and their boobs look like, like the round, perfect little boobs, and I see mine and they're more wide, and I'm like, is it because I gained all the weight from all the medicine shit? Like, why can't my boobs look like that? And I didn't understand that when you have a skin sparing mastectomy and you can't keep your nipple, I mean, think about how much skin your nipple takes up. That's then gone. And I didn't have expanders. I don't think it would have made too much of a difference if I had had them or not. But I don't know. And whatever, it's too late now anyway. You can do hindsight, whatever. I adore my plastic surgeon. I found out he's a colonel in the Army. I didn't realize he was a colonel, like fancy pants. But when they get rid of the nipple, they're getting rid of so much skin, and they've got to pull, your other skin together in order to close it. And, that's why my scars go straight across. I'm happy that the above my scar looks like normal. I thought that when I was going to have the surgery, like I have a beauty mark like right here, and I thought that after the surgery my beauty mark wouldn't be there because they'd have to like cut that skin off. So even though they cut out so much skin, that's what makes your boobs look smaller than they actually are. But it's not like they cut all your skin off. I mean, they cut enough off to be able to close it, to put the implant in, and I just wanted something that was natural, that was similar in size to my actual boobs. But I won't have that like pretty little curve for my boobs. I shouldn't say like... They are curved. I make them sound like they're big rectangles, which they're not. It's just, they don't look... I thought that if you had like reconstruction, then like your boobs would look like what all those women look like that are super skinny and have augmentation done. And augmentation is not the same thing as reconstruction, because with augmentation, you still have your boobs, you still have breast tissue to work with. Like I don't have breast tissue to work with. My breast tissue tried to kill me, so it needed to go. So the main moral of like this second day of stuff for me is I have to stop striving for perfection in general in life, but also like when it comes to this, because there is no perfection. Your body's not going to look just like somebody else's. The weight, I'm trying to just wrap my head around and just accept, I'm doing the best that I can, and it's just not budging. And one good thing too, or another good thing that she mentioned during the appointment, when I was telling her about like me having a hard time with body image, because I've been busting my ass at the gym and doing all these things, and without starving myself, I'm just not losing weight. And she asked me how far out I was, and I said it'll be 4 years in August. And she's like, oh, so you only have one more year left. I'm like, 1 more year till what? And she said that people that have had double mastectomies, the kind of cancer that I had, if they get through to 5 years, then the odds of the cancer recurrence is like next to nothing. Basically, when you hit that 5-year mark, like, you're good. So that was really nice to hear that too. But I've realized too, like, I'm putting my body through so much. And I had asked my plastic surgeon if he could do another reconstruction revision prior to me starting the tattooing, and he didn't want to do that. And, it was kind of an ethical thing for him of not putting me under the knife again. And I was disappointed because I'm like, I want the perfect little booby pictures. I was disappointed, but now that I've gone through this, and it's almost like your body, after all those shots, it's like your body's almost like in shock of what is being done to it. And like, I went through all the Luprons, I went through all the Zemetas, like I went through PT, I went through so much stuff, and I'm grasping at straws to get back to what I was. And the reality is that that's not going to happen. And I don't mean that in a giving up kind of way. It's just, I'm a 53-year-old woman who's been through breast cancer. I'm not going to expect to have the exact same body that I had before. It's just not reality. So, if anything, this second day of the nipple tattooing has taught me that I need to give my fucking body a break. And I don't mean a break like temporarily. Like, I don't want to do another reconstruction revision. I don't. I was having pains, and my plastic surgeon said, like, he doesn't do plastic surgery if you're having pain. That's not what plastic surgery is about. And if the pain's bad, like, yes, he can come back to it. But at this point, I'm like, my body's just been through so much. It's been through so much trauma that it needs time to just chill. And by time, I don't mean a couple of months. I don't even mean a year. Like, can we just stop? Like, I'll finish the tattooing and just leave it. Just let it be. And it is what it is. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful the cancer is gone. Yes, there's side effects, and I'm here. You can't expect that, like, you get a breast cancer diagnosis and you do all the things, and then you're like, whoop, you go back and just do the same life that you were living. Breast cancer changes you forever, mentally and physically. You're not going to go back to that person. I don't want to go back to that person. I mean, granted, I don't want to have scars either, but here we are, So, yeah. I know as a person, I can be stubborn, mostly because I can be perfectionistic. And there's so many other areas of my life where I've come to such acceptance that, like, there is no perfect. I don't think there's a perfect, I talk about, like, me being single and going through this whole thing. I don't think there's a perfect person out there. I think, like, nobody's perfect. I don't think there's, like, one person out there who has all the qualities that I could possibly want to have in a partner. I don't think that's the case. I talk about that with friendships too. There's not any human person that can be a friend in every single way that you need them to be at every single time you need them to be. It's just not realistic. Everyone can give what they can give. And that's the benefit of having several friends. Because what one can give in one way, somebody else can give it another way. And it just makes you, it makes you realize that having a tribe is more important than trying to put everything on one person's plate, because it's A, not fair, and B, not really possible. So, all right, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to, like, chill and watch TV. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, because that's distracting. That makes me think that life is just, so wonderful, because I don't live like that. So my next appointment is in the end of May, and I will fill you in on how things are going then. That should be it, and then just be done. One of the things we did at the breast cancer, or the Runway retreat, not from Runway, but a friend of mine that went, had these curse pages. I'll show this because this won't be my thumbnail in case it gets pulled. But one of the papers I already colored, which I don't feel like getting up, It says, be nice or GTFO, get the fuck out. I'll put her by my door. Be nice or get the fuck out. And then this one says, stay classy, sassy, and totally fucking badassy. So this is for all you mothers out there. By mothers, I don't actually mean like mothers of children. I just mean like mothers, you know. Stay badassy. I'm badass that I went through all this shit that I already have. So one more time with these tattoos and then I am finitoed. No more tattoos for me. Well, no more tattoos there for me. I still want to get one more, but not there. All right, till next time, everyone. If you have any questions or anything, pop them down in the comments below. Don't email me because I'm not really going to look at it. And the social media pages aren't as updated as these are. So again, comments below, questions below, whatever you got. Thanks for joining along. Bye.